Hello, my name is Anita. I'm an experienced Strategy Finder facilitator. I will introduce you to the basic use of Strategy Finder, and therefore I will use a simple but real 30 minutes workshop which was extended to 40 minutes. We have changed the names, but none of the material has been edited. Let's show you how Strategy Finder delivers immediate output. Arthur, the senior manager working as a crisis manager in Scandinavia, suddenly is called to a meeting to discuss about mental health issues during COVID. He decides to gather with 4 colleagues, Anne, Jill, Frederick and Gary, from other regions to prepare the meeting. Unfortunately, Gary couldn't attend, but the others will. Arthur wants to gather thoughts of his team and asks them to log on to Strategy Finder as they did many times before. So on the left-hand side, you can see Anne's screen, and on the right-hand side, you can see Arthur's screen. Arthur is the facilitator. They put their names on Strategy Finder default view to show that everybody has logged on. After that, blind gather starts. Arthur starts blind gather to the initial question. Blind gather means that each participant contributes their own thoughts to the topic without being influenced by the views of others. In this blind gather, everybody has the possibility to enter 2 statements. If the participants enter the statements, they appear immediately on the facilitator screen. After a few minutes, the most important topics are seen on the screen. And so everybody has had a voice. Usually when there is more time, each participant will be contributing 5 to 7 statements each, and we end up with about 50 to 60 statements. Arthur reorganizes the statements in clusters to see the content easier. Then he stops the blind gather and the group can see what is on the screen. The group knows that the issues are not independent to each other, and so they are invited to add what they see as causal links. The product of the linking is a structure which Arthur hopes better describes the situation, the interconnected wisdom of the team. After linking or while linking, they discuss the direction or some links. For example, here is 11 going to 1, or does it lead maybe to 12? Then they decide to put it back on 1. And as you can see now, as Arthur zooms in, he changes the category of number 1 and number 10 into a goal. So all agree that the key outcomes in this are both mental health and suicide. So number 1 and number 10 are negative goals in this case. While the others are making their judgments, Arthur checks if there are feedback loops in the model. He starts the analysis and chooses loop detection. And it looks as if there are two cycles in the model. He brings them to a separate view where it's easier for the group to discuss it for a few minutes. Arthur would like to know which they think is the most important issue to deal with, mental health and suicide, so he uses the Strategyfinder rating facility. This allows them each to quickly record their own judgment about relative importance of the issues and also see whether there is a consensus in the group. He sets the initial value at 5, the halfway point between 0 and 10. On the left-hand side, Anne is doing her rating. When she has finished, she submits her judgment and this shows on Arthur's screen. The others submit their judgment and Arthur can see the results. Arthur leaves the rating and displays the results to all of the group in the model. So they can see that statement number 9 on the top left shows green, whereas, for example, on the bottom the statement is red, indicating not much agreement. Given the time constraints, Arthur now wants to get their thoughts on what they think can be done about these issues to change the situation. As they are doing that, Arthur changes them into option category. He reminds them to make sure they put a link from their idea to varied impacts. Again, time is short and so no time to discuss at length. Arthur asks for their judgment about the options they have surfaced. He gives them some colored blobs to indicate two dimensions, impact, green, and practicality, blue. He also gives them the chance to use a veto blob, a red one, if they wish to. This will allow them to show their severe approval of an option, but to do so anonymously. When Arthur finishes the setup, you can see Anne puts her blobs in and submits her judgment. Arthur looks at the results on his screen and sees that the most preferred options seem to also be with a good consensus, and he shares them that every group member can see it. One option stands out. It is keep children outside. Arthur categorizes it as a strategy to recognize it's not a simple action. While discussing, he categorizes all the other high impact and high practicality statements as actions. This was a very quick meeting, but Arthur was pleased with the help of his team he got in 40 minutes. He reckoned a 40-minute Zoom discussion would have probably discussed just a couple of topics with no clear ideas for possible actions. And Frederick would have dominated the discussion again. He had a good briefing for his regional meeting the next day. Of course, usually Strategyfinder meetings are longer and the material generated more considered, and also with more participants, often based around the world. For example, Strategyfinder is often used for solving messy and complex problems, perhaps 2 to 3 hours. For strategy development, usually 3 to 4 half-day workshops. Similarly, for systemic risk management within complex projects or multi-organizational collaboration projects. The detailed manuals for Strategyfinder covers a wide range of uses. This was a short introduction to the basic use of Strategyfinder. We hope that has given you a reasonable sense of how it works. Feel free to contact us.